This is California State University Northridge, a beautiful campus. The sun is shining and students are out and about preparing for finals. The students and faculty are filled with happiness, awaiting the end of the semester. However, 18 years ago, this picture was drastically different. On January 17, 1994, a 6.7 magnitude earthquake ripped through the Northridge community. 57 people lost their lives, thousands of others were injured, and the damage at CSUN was devastating. Many current professors were in the area that day. The following shared their thoughts about this shocking event.
The worst thing that I remember is hearing in the news that CSUN was not going to be able to reopen for in time for the spring semester, and that was my last semester of school. I was graduating, and hearing that we probably were not going to graduate that year, I think was probably the most devastating thing. Even though I knew everything that happened, and I knew that there was so much chaos and a lot of buildings were hit or at least damaged, I just kept thinking I'm not going to be able to graduate.
School actually didn't open on time that semester. I think we delayed it for like 4 weeks. And I was teaching Valley View, and in Valley View, our equipment was not destroyed, but the studio was destroyed. And so we had no place to put the show together. And so what we did is they came to my house, we stored the equipment in a back bedroom, and the students edited their stories in my back bedroom.
I think major disasters form some kind of camaraderie between all the students and the teachers who were all in this disaster together. And it was very interesting. The sad part was finding out about some of the students that were in the apartment buildings and they didn't make it. There were several students that died when the apartment buildings collapsed. There was one teacher here, Donald Hall. His office was down on the end of this hallway, and that whole side of the building fell off, and he lost his apartment and his office, all in the earthquake. He lost everything.
But it looked like a bomb had gone off. It was just incredible, the amount of devastation. And as I said, I wasn't here on this campus, but when I came back in '97 as a student, we were still in the trailers and the domes, and it was a lot of devastation still at that point. Of buildings had been taken down, and my husband was here as a student in the '70s, and we would walk around the campus and just go, oh my gosh, that building's gone. That building's torn down. The library wings had not been rebuilt yet when I started back as a student. My math classes were all in these drippy, drainy, horrible raining in trailers, and it was pretty bad at that point. I have to say, looking at the campus today, you would never ever know that there had been such a terrible event in our lives here at CSUN.
I'd only been teaching here for maybe 3 or 4 years, I guess, and I had a year-old child. So I was only teaching 1 class, maybe 2 classes a semester. And the earthquake came during winter break. So school wasn't in session. And we heard early on that it had hit Northridge very hard, but fortunately school wasn't in session, so students weren't here. And I often think what would have happened if it had been 2 weeks and 8 hours later. So many more students would have been killed. There were students killed students that were living in the dorm.
As we all enjoy the beauty of CSUN, we should never forget those that we lost and the devastation that occurred on that fateful day.